Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick update here while I have a few minutes. It's been about a week or so since I last updated, so I figured I better get on here before time gets away, and it's been like 3 months or something. So I'm out. I'm a little dry. I'm a little congested here. My wife made me do some cleaning on Saturday, and I ended up gassing myself, which is bad for someone with asthma. So if I cough or take a sip of water, you know what's up. But we just passed Holy Week, Easter week. Um, so lots of sweets, treats, good things to eat. And my mother-in-law was visiting for most of the week, so that also meant more eating out, um, and eating more on my feast days in general. Now, when it came time to weigh, one of the differences, about the last 2 weeks, most of my fasting days I have had strictly nothing. No low-calorie meal, which I thought would help with the Easter eating, with the extra, the food that I wouldn't normally eat or I would normally buy that I'm now eating, and eating fewer home cooked meals. I thought, well, I'll balance it out by doing some longer fasts. I think I mentioned even that in a previous video that fasting is getting easier and easier for me. So I often feel like at the end of my 24-hour fast, when it's time to eat the low calorie meal, I often don't feel hungry and I feel like I could go on. And so I did. For most of those days in the last 2 weeks, I ate nothing on my fast day and went to bed, woke up, felt no worse for the wear, and sometimes broke my fast in the morning after 36 to 38 hours, somewhere in that range. And one day I went 42 hours and I felt fine. I wasn't even hungry then. But I just thought, well, I better let's stick to this ADF pattern. So it was a crapshoot. I thought it's going to be a total crapshoot when I step on this scale because I've been, we just passed this holiday. I've been eating more. We've had visiting family. But I've also been restricting my calories more. So it could go either way. Well, guess which way it went? Neither, because it was an absolute zilch. There was nothing added and nothing taken away. Just flat line in terms of weight. And so I've talked about some of the variables about why that is, but I also want to mention that I don't fully trust the scale. Several years ago, 20 years ago, as a matter of fact, when I was first married, I put on about 30 pounds. My wife was pregnant with our first daughter, and I put on 30 pounds of like sympathy weight. She was she was putting on weight. She had a baby growing inside her. I looked like I had a baby growing inside me. I just added this weight. We were eating lots of pasta. We were eating out a few nights a week, and so and we both like creamy, like cheesy foods, and so I put on a bunch of weight. When I realized that, hey, I'm getting none of my clothes fit and I've got to do something here, I started jogging. I started walking and jogging. And I was up to about 300 pounds and went to the doctor after a couple weeks of jogging, and I had gained 12 pounds. I said, what is going on here? This is like, it was really discouraging. Well, I got in the doctor's office and he said, no, you're fine. He's like, you've just made this adjustment. You've started this exercise regimen that you weren't doing before. And so you're gaining muscle. You're putting muscle, you're using these leg muscles, these big muscles in your body that you haven't used, that you've been sedentary with, and they're growing and they are retaining what they need to grow. And muscle is heavier than fat. It weighs more than fat. It's more dense than fat. If you've ever handled raw meat, you know this. You know that the fat is lighter than the muscle is. It's in terms of density. And so that was kind of like the first time I got a clue about the fact that you can, your body can be changing its shape and the scale can do nothing, or it can even go the wrong direction. But the changes that are happening in your body are positive. And so coinciding with that, in this past couple weeks, I feel pretty good. So I've been upping my level of walking and strength training. I lift weights. I like to do push-ups. I like to do things that make me feel physical, and I like to feel active as much as I can. And so I've been increasing those levels and the intensity and the length as much as I can. Not killing myself. Don't get me wrong. I'm not out there killing myself. I'm not. I'm not going at 100%. It's probably closer to 80 to 85% of what I'm really think I'm capable of, but just doing that for longer. So if I go for a walk, if I was used to 3 mile walks, I'm doing 4 a few times a week, or maybe 5, going a little bit further with it. So yes, I am increasing. I'm stressing my muscles a little more. I'm feeling better. I've lost 10% of my body weight in 40 days, the first 40 days on this ADF plan. I lost 10%, over 10% of my body weight. So I feel lighter. And so I'm increasing my my output and trying to work on healing, getting the body back to functioning. The more muscle you have on your body, the more likely you are to keep weight off. Not just to burn it, but to keep weight off. So all these things together, I think, are responsible for the fact that the scale didn't budge. I'm not afraid of a scale. I'm not afraid, even if it had gone up a little bit, I wouldn't have been spooked by that or scared by that. It's like I say, because I know that I'm doing everything I can to make changes, the internal changes, external changes, to make the changes I need to make to get where my goal is. And so, the scale, I don't always trust the scale. What I trust is the fact that when I take my belt off now, my pants fall down. And they just drop. And, I'm kind of in a funny in-between period where I don't quite fit my old clothes, and that's the clothes that I wore in 2015. I'm not quite there yet. But the ones that I'm wearing, my fat guy clothes that I went out and bought last year, are just too big. I mean, I'm having to hoist them up to my chest, just about, to try to keep. If I'm not wearing a belt or suspenders or something, man, those bad boys are going to fly. It's just going to be all sails to the wind. So, I'm encouraged. My shape is changing, and what the scale does, and I always keep that objectively. The scale is just one part, one measurement, one part of a larger picture. So that's what's been happening this week. It's been good, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I hope everyone that's watching this as well. I appreciate the new subscribers. The channel is growing. I appreciate your views, your comments, your likes. And if you have any questions for me, let them fly. Until next time.